you know, when you say blind and deaf in the same sentence, I think that's a lot. Are you kidding? I did not bring boys home. Do you think I told Mom and Dee about rando people? Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and please welcome Ryan back to the channel as we share our love story to our proposal story, engagement, all the things that you wanted to know.
Yeah, I didn't know there's that much demand.
I know. There's a lot of questions. But last week we left off at me sharing my story and telling Ryan about my sobriety journey. And the week before that, Ryan shared his secrets. And the week before that, we did some about you stuff. Like, there's a lot of setup to get to this point. So if you have not watched those videos, watch those, because otherwise you won't get the full context of what we're talking about. And I do say, if I have to say so myself, they are good stories.
Yeah, they're great stories.
We're biased. But today's video is the Meet the Parents episode. I personally think like I'm the perfect take-home girl, and I know that sounds conceited, but like it is a gift. Like there is a thing about pageant girls where like we just like hit home runs with the families. Like I've done that since
What?
some people before you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like parents love me. Like
Oh, this is new.
what? Yeah, I guess I haven't like explicitly said it like that, but I'm gonna say it because it's true.
Okay. All right. Well, you did good, so.
Thank you. Thank you. I think so myself. Meeting your family, we basically went out to see your family 8 months after we started dating, June of 2021. Yeah, we went out to San Francisco. You were already out there for some reason, and you had invited me to come basically spend the week in San Francisco and then meet your family and your sisters. Yeah, so I was excited. I was ready. I had all my outfits picked out. It was also my first time seeing San Francisco as like a tourist. I had been in and out so many times before for like work and family and stuff like that, but it wasn't ever to like fully see the city, like fully actually do like tours and things like that. So I remember getting there, and one of the first nights we met your older sister, Marissa. Hi, Marissa. And we went to dinner with her and her husband, and she was pregnant at the time with her first. Now she has two. She was pregnant at the time with her number one. She wasn't drinking, and thankfully I wasn't drinking. So like it didn't feel weird to not drink, I guess, when I was meeting them. So yeah, we went to dinner. I just remember it being a really fun conversation. Also, Marissa's like the easiest person to talk to. So like the vibe I got was she was just like very curious about me, which like I would be too.
Yeah.
Like in the sense of like if my brother is bringing home his girlfriend, like I would be curious.
For sure. But she's not like grilling you.
No. It was like a genuine like, I'm so excited to meet you, because I also picked up on the vibe that like you hadn't brought a lot of girls home.
No, unlike you apparently. So
No, I did. Are you kidding? I did not bring boys home. Do you think I told Mom and Dee about rando people?
take it back. Those were some nice boys in the past.
That's so nice of you. They were, but they just weren't the right boys.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
I was the first, like one of the first people you brought home.
Yeah, one of the first, for sure. Yeah.
Why didn't you bring people home?
Why didn't I bring people home?
Mm-hmm.
They weren't up to standard yet, you know?
No offense to those girls.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, yeah. No, it just wasn't that level of relationship yet, so I don't know. You know, especially when you're on the East Coast.
Yeah, that's
It's a much bigger thing, right?
Okay, so yeah, so we met your sister first. That went really well, and then we went to meet your parents, who are in Pleasanton. For some reason, I wasn't like so nervous about your parents, because like I said, I do well, but there was like a little more anxiousness about it because I actually was like, you could be the one. So there was like a little higher stakes for me going into it because I'd never felt that way about anyone else's. I was like, oh yeah, I got this, I'm gonna crush it. There was like a little bit of hesitation going into meeting your family, and we got lunch that day. They were moving into their new house, and so we picked up lunch at a Mexican place that you guys really love.
Oh yeah.
And you sent me alone with like his mom and sister to go and like pick it up.
I think you volunteered.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'll come. I was like, I'll come with you or something. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, we're gonna go pick it up, and I was like, oh, I'll join. So I think I invited myself.
Yeah, you did,
Which like
for
showed
sure.
initiation, or what's the
Initiative.
initiative? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I showed initiative, and so you and your dad hung out. We went and picked up the food. Had actually a pretty serious conversation with your mom and sister that they shared with me, which I was like, which I really appreciated, because I was like, oh, this family gets deep very quickly, which is like what I love. Some things that I thought was like, okay, these are like green flags of them feeling comfortable to talk about things openly. So that was really nice. And then we came back, and I remember connecting with your dad
Yeah, he
about
loves you.
filmmaking and activism, and your dad, I didn't realize, was super into it. So like we just pretty much chatted the whole lunch. And like, you have to understand, no one in my family asked me about this stuff. Probably because I also like draw a boundary where I'm like, I don't tell you what I'm working on until like I know for sure what's gonna happen. Otherwise, like, it gives me anxiety when people are like, so how's that thing going? And I'm like, I don't know, I can't tell you. Like, but like with your family, it felt a little different because it didn't feel like there was so much pressure to have like a certain outcome. It was like, oh yeah, I'm working on these things. And so it was much more genuine of a flow.
Yeah, yeah. And my dad loves that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing what he probably wishes I was doing.
Aw, you're doing what my family probably wishes I was doing.
I mean, that's probably explains. You're giving away everything at the end.
Yeah, so that was my perception. I walked out just feeling really good. We had such a great date in San Francisco. If you have not done the yellow cars in San Francisco, you have not lived life. Like,
They're like the little go-kart
yeah.
things. They're like moped, motorcycle things that you can...
You can literally park
Right.
anywhere. You drive with traffic. Like, you can park anywhere because it's so small. And like, we just had one of the best days and best dates, and it's like one of the most fun ways to see San Francisco for sure. How did you feel?
Bringing you home?
Yeah, how did I do? Say nice
You
things
did great.
to me.
Yeah. No, I think you did great. It wasn't anything I was like surprised by. I don't know. I think there's like a nervousness when you're bringing someone home, and it's like a seriousness, you know. But I wasn't worried about you. I wasn't worried about my family. So.
Did you ever like think during the time, like, oh, I see her integrating with my family well, like it's so seamless? Like, did that thought cross your mind, or you're just like, oh, this is good?
I think I saw the potential. It's not like I wasn't like uncomfortable by any means, you know, but it's just like there's always that feeling out period, you know, but I could see. I mean, I never had any doubt, you know. I wasn't worried about that sort of thing.
Yeah.
To be honest, you know, if anything, it was like, oh, let's get through the, I don't know, it's weird to like shake your hands with your boyfriend's parents at that time, you know, like it's like, you know, so it's like, let's just get past the awkwardness. I don't know, I think a lot of people go through it, right? It's just, I think I wanted you to feel comfortable around the house and just feel like you can go do whatever you want to do. You can go get snacks from the pantry and things like that, which you did.
I did, but I loved this. Like, this is where the sister payoff came in, because your younger sister, who I didn't meet on that trip, but I met later. For some reason, we didn't have an overlap. But yeah, so later on, I think we did the holidays that year together. And the first time I met her, we were all staying at your family's house for Christmas. And she was like, listen, I know what it feels like to be at your boyfriend's house and feel really uncomfortable. So like, if you ever need anything, like food, time alone, like I got you, like whatever, cereal, like whatever you want, like please know that like help yourself, or like if you want me to get it for you, I will, or if you want me to be the bad person, I will. Like, which was so nice to just know. It's not like I needed to take her up on it, but like it's just nice to know that you have that offers on the table. So sisters, I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that's a big part of like people feeling comfortable and integrating with families, right?
Yeah.
It's like you want to be able to be yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Like the version that I know of you who wants to go hide in the pantry and find food. Like that's the version that I want you to be at.
But your family's pantry is like a kid pantry. Like they have Pop-Tarts, they have Cinnamon Toast Crunch, they have Frosted Flakes, like they have cookies and candy. Like
I just remember you walked in there.
Like Halloween candy in there. Like there's so many goodies.
There was a time where like everyone everyone had gotten to bed. And I'm like turning off the lights or something like that in the kitchen, and then we're gonna go to bed. I see the light on in the pantry, and it's just Nina in the pantry by herself, and she's just like dancing. Like, you were doing this, I don't know what you were doing. I've never seen you do it before, except for then. You're just like so happy. Like, you're just like collecting like little M&Ms, and then you had like your Pop-Tarts, and you're just, you were in a spot. You were in a zone.
Happy. I don't remember dancing, but
Yeah, you definitely had this little
groove going on.
Yeah, like it's like you couldn't control it.
Yeah.
It was just joy coming out of your body.
Mm-hmm. Pantry is my favorite place to be in all the time. So after that...
Was it after that?
After that, it was time to meet Mama D.
Yeah, it wasn't until like October or something like that, right?
Yeah, we didn't meet Mom until almost a year plus into when we were dating.
Yeah.
And the first meeting, a little bit of backstory about my mom. She moved here in 2021 to New York City, and my dad had passed away in 2016. And so she was moving, with the intention, I think, partially to be closer to us, but like kind of ready to move on from Syracuse, which is where her and my dad lived before. And so she was still kind of getting adjusted to the city, getting adjusted to just her new life in general. And I think what was really hard for her is that I had told her very early on about you because I knew you were like kind of a real thing. But yeah, I told her like maybe month 3 or something that we had met, and I was like talking about you. But I was hesitant to introduce her to you because I felt like she was still kind of unraveling and going through a little bit of her grieving process still, even though it had been some time. And then I think a part of her, it made her sad to know that I was in a serious relationship, because I think in her mind, she would never say this, and this is maybe me projecting a little, I don't know, but I think in her mind, she felt like if I found someone, that it means that she's truly alone in some ways, which is so not true. That's obviously not the case. And my sister was married at this time, and so I think her and I would always do things together. Like if we were on vacation, her and I would share a room. Like we just were so a little codependent. There was definitely a part of that after my dad had passed away. And so I think it was just hard for her to even digest that I was dating anyone.
Yeah.
Like anyone. It wasn't you. It was just anyone would have been hard for her. And so I didn't want to bring her into this until I felt she was more confident with where she was in life. And I think that just took time. So that's why I had waited for so long to introduce you to her. And the first time we did like a very easy coffee date. It's like, let's keep this easy. It doesn't need to be a dinner. It doesn't need to be anything like big and serious. Like, let's just keep it casual. So we went to Chelsea Market. Literally after the coffee date, there were these girls sitting behind us, and they're like, are you Nina Dalvalori? And I was like, yes, I am. And they're like, oh my gosh, like we love you. And they said like all these nice things. And I was like, you just witnessed like one of the biggest moments in my life. Like I was so emotional. And they're like, okay, can we get a selfie? I was like, yes, of course. But like, I just remember that and feeling like so relieved that it was almost over, like the meeting.
I think there's a lot of buildup when you wait that long. You got bad advice early on.
Got bad advice from me?
No.
Oh.
He was like, that's what you should do. Bring a gift and touch her feet. And I was like...
And then you told me about it, and I was like, do not do that. Like that
I'm going to run this by a couple people before. Someone was like, just do the gift. Don't touch her feet.
Yeah, I was like, that is so old school. I mean, this is probably like the problem child in me. Like, I just hate that ritual. Because I remember when I was filming Complexion, like the girls in the orphanage would come up to me and like touch my feet. And I just hated that feeling. I grapple with it so much because it's like a sign of respect. And there's, I think, maybe religious components to it. I don't know. If you know, comment below. But like it just makes me feel so uncomfortable. And it's almost like this hierarchy of like, to show respect, you have to perform this, versus I think respect can be shown in multiple ways. And I didn't want these girls, young girls, to feel like they were inferior or that we weren't on the same human level, because you're not going to be able to connect with people when you have this sort of hierarchy. So I don't know. It's just a ritual I struggle and can't, I don't know how I feel about it. Let me know if you have thoughts.
Ooh, I think you get a lot of thoughts
I've
on
got
that.
a lot of thoughts? Okay, well, be nice.
Yes, I didn't do that. You know, ran that by Nina, and you can imagine how that went. I think it was a good first meeting. I feel like it's a little bit different for bringing the guy home than bringing the girl home, you know? So.
I thought it went fine. I think the harder part was obviously the debrief after. Like, everyone knows that phone call of like, what did you think? Or like you're gonna get the real thoughts because they're not gonna be rude to you, but like the real talk happens when you're not in the room.
Wait, what happened?
So, of course, like, my mom has lovely things to say.
It's good.
The hard thing for me was that I just thought she would notice your cochlear implant and ask me about it because I didn't want to necessarily open with like, oh, this is what defines you. Like, telling her about Usher's I felt like it would have been saying, oh, this is like his disability and you need to know about it and this is who he is, and then you're gonna have like a certain idea of what you think this person is, especially like, you know, when you say blind and deaf in the same sentence. I think that's a lot to process.
Yeah.
And so I thought she would notice. She did not notice at all. And so I was like, well, I don't know if you noticed, but Brian had a cochlear implant, and I tell her about Usher's, and she's just like, I didn't notice at all. And she really didn't have a lot to say in the moment because, again, she just couldn't process it. Like, genuinely, I think she was like, okay. But like, visibly, obviously, in seeing you and interacting with you, you read very normal. There should be like another word for it, but you know, you wouldn't guess, I suppose. And so I don't think she thought much about it in that moment until she had a little time to digest it. And then we did have multiple conversations about it. You know, for any parent, they just want you to think about everything going into this. So of course, like, there were reservations. We did like sit down and have that conversation, but I could not have had that conversation with her if we didn't talk about it. And because I had been through this entire process already, I was able to just be honest with her about it. Because at this point I was like, I'm not trying to hide this. I'm not trying to backtrack it. I'm not trying to make it better necessarily. It was like, this is why I've chosen to move forward with it. And she had to respect it. And it took her time, but she obviously
came around.
She came through. Yeah, Mama D came through.
Mm-hmm.
I was proud of her. I really was. Because by the end of it, she was like, when are you getting engaged?
Yeah, that was
like, she was more concerned than I was. I think the bigger challenge that we faced is with your vision.
Yeah.
And that was always something that I think I was more aware of than your hearing, just in terms of like where you were going, looking out for things. It wasn't really a challenge. It was like, we're always walking together. So like, it's not something that I have to think extra about, like avoiding something. But I was almost I always worried when you would be out alone, like you just do, especially at nighttime, because your vision does get worse at nighttime. Mm-hmm. And there was a part of me that was almost waiting for something to happen. I know that sounds terrible, but like, it was just always in the back of my mind that something might happen. And a year ago, I would say probably was like the biggest challenge that we had to navigate.
The incident.
Dun, dun, dun. That's how I have it slated. And he was like, that's so dramatic. And then I was like, the hiccup. And he's like, that's too insignificant. Yeah. Like, so yeah, I guess we kept the incident.
It's the incident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching and listening to our story, and we will see you next time.
Name for our series.
I don't know. Yeah, comment if you have a name for our series.
So West Village Rom-Com.
Still late in the game, yeah, but yeah, let us know. Okay, bye.
Bye.